A very warm welcome to everyone who's watching. While I was on my way here to this interview, I realized that PhD India has just clocked its 12th year this week. A young challenger agency with the firepower that can give a run for its money to any media agency in the country, demonstrated by the Convergence Report of 2024. Joining me are two proud leaders of PhD. One is Eileen Ooi, APAC CEO, and the second one is Monaz Todywalla, India CEO of PhD. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Eileen, I remember Tony Harradine was here a few months ago, and he spoke about how you have this unique talent of identifying strategic opportunities.
Very kind.
So I want to know from you, what is the big strategic opportunity that India presents as a whole, and how is PhD tapping?
Yeah. I mean, India overall in the global ecosystem is one of the fastest growing economy, right? And what's really exciting about India is that actually the nuance of the pace of change, right? And then the cultural diversity, as well as honestly, the capabilities of the talent in this market is phenomenal, right? So from a larger Asia Pacific perspective, India plays a pivotal role in terms of driving the growth of the region as well as in the global arena as well. Someone who's, proud coming from this region as well. I understand the diversity in Asia, right? Oftentimes people always kind of just club it and said, oh, APAC. But, I'm always kind of that voice in that global meeting going, Asia is not just one region, guys. I mean, there is a lot of, sub-regions that, we need to look at it.
And where does India rank in the APAC scheme of things for you?
In India specifically, India would be, I would say, top 3, just from a overall scale perspective, from a PhD perspective.
Which would be the first two?
The first 2 markets from a billing scale perspective would be China and Australia and New Zealand, right? And we see Australia and New Zealand, we're just clubbing that together. But from a growth perspective, India is phenomenally growing in being one of the top 1 market.
Monaz, the first time we did an interview, we were talking about how PhD is a challenger agency, and the OMD is the big brother. Tell me, have you managed to close the gap between the two agencies in all these years?
So I'll put it like this. I think that PhD still continues to have the challenger mindset. I think over 12 years, we can confidently say now that we are no longer a challenger brand per se. I think in a way,
not in terms of scale.
Say scale, yeah. We've definitely moved in the leadership ladder. Let me put it like that, and unfortunately we measure ourselves in numbers. But I think what we will always retain, and what actually is, according to me, a very, very important principle if we want to be relevant, is a challenger mindset, because it helps us become more agile. So I'm going to be very, very honest. When I joined, I think the biggest challenge we had was being even called for a pitch. Yeah. And I think the first 2 years was just about ensuring that, we were doing enough net practice, as the as the word goes in cricket, to ensure that we were focused on our product, refining it, sharpening it, so that, we were actually invited for a lot of pitches. I think the second thing, when we did get invited to pitches, we tried to do it the unique PhD way. And, I keep saying unique to you, but I think clients just experience it differently than most other agencies in that sense. I think a couple of things that what we've sort of led to this growth is, one is to really, really sort of focus on existing clients, and in a way actually making them our biggest evangelist. Yeah, because if your existing client is happy, then I'm hoping the word will pass around that these are like good folks to be with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, just being here, honestly, I mean, the culture that Monaz built with India, I mean, just spending time with the team and all, I can feel this sense of energy, right? And this sense of passion for our people. And I mean, from our people, for our people. And then honestly, meetings with the clients as well. I mean, they're singing praises. And that, from a regional perspective, these are always great market visits.
You're most welcome.
Whenever a media agency talks about revenue and growth, I think the new business win part of it always gets a lot of priority. Do you think that's the one that should get priority, or the retention part? Because you also scored very high on retention, I think 80% plus. So what is it that you really focus on at PhD?
So first, I'd like to say that my leadership style is very hands-on. So I can tell you what's happening right down to the minute level on all my clients. So I think it's a bit of both, and I think it's the right balance that you need to crack between retention and existing businesses and existing clients versus new businesses. I think we're also at a very different phase in our journey, and I'd be stupid to say that I don't need new business. I mean, we love new business. But I think what we could do differently, and what we do differently at PhD, is that we're very mindful of what is the new business that we're running after. We finally really want to be able to solve a client problem, and we want clients to be really proud of the partnership that we have. And I'll be very, very honest when I say that. I mean, PhD is not for everybody, and everybody is not for PhD in that sense. But having said that, I think we're very humble of what we have and of value that we can actually bring to the table. So at this stage in our journey, I think it's a pretty good balance that we've struck between retention and ensuring that we have new business.
We're talking about new business. How many millions of new business have you managed last year, and what is the kind of growth you're seeing this year?
So I'd just say that it's been a phenomenal year for us this year, and if I now remember the numbers correctly, I think we're almost seeing 50% or 100% jump in new business this year. 2025 versus
year
last
to date.
year already.
Year to date, yeah.
So I think we've got a good run. We're also an agency in momentum, right? And it's great to sort of, in that sense, capitalize on this momentum and make the most of it.
And because we're talking about growth and both sides. Overall, how much growth are you seeing over last year?
So I'd say we've seen a modest 2-digit growth. Very good 2-digit modest growth.
All right. Eileen talked about leadership, and while talent and ability, of course, knows no gender, what does the idea of having two leaders who are women at the top really mean for an agency on the overall level?
I think having women leaders are great. More importantly, it's having great leaders on the top, right? And I think from an Omnicom perspective, we've been always very gender neutral in everything that we do, our policies, our environments, and all of that. And that does actually, cultivate and allow for our women employees and our talents to actually continue to rise up the rank as well, right? But in the perspective of two women leaders, for me, I think we just see it as leaders, to be honest, right? Capable leaders, being able to have bold, courageous, honest conversations. And the strength of women is the ability to lead with empathy, right? And Monaz talk about being mother hen, but I think that's a great thing, right? Mothers are probably the strong leaders in my view. They have to juggle a lot of stuff at home,
No, I think I agree with Eileen. I think so meritocracy obviously ranks very, very high for us. I think it's just that we create organizations which by nature attract great talent, and it just so happens that we're lucky that this great talent happens to be women. Yeah. And kudos to that, and may our tribe thrive. But I think what's also great at Omnicom is that we have great men leaders who give us the ability.
Advocates of this.
And who are great advocates of the work that we do. And are indeed partners in that sense, and not like it's not like there's no unhealthy competition of trying to be even with Karthik, we have some very healthy debates, and there's great respect for each other's opinion. For that matter, Tony, who is Karthik's boss, and of course Eileen's boss as well. I think we see great support from our male leaders as well, and that sort of ensures that there is a culture that we create for women where women genuinely feel respected and heard, and therefore put up their hands for leadership positions far more than probably where you see elsewhere.
Yeah.
And with the merger coming in, what are the efficiencies that you're really looking forward to tapping from the other group? While you have so much of your own, I mean, I'm sure there are things that you're looking forward to including in your suite of tools. What would those be from the IPG model?
Yeah, so I mean, IPG definitely has an interesting data strength from an Axiom perspective. I think that's been very exciting, and we see it as a great synergy for us from an organization perspective. So as you would know, we have Omni as our platform, and Omni has been a very, I would say, what do I call it? Almost like a
Super app for us.
yeah, super app,
Yeah.
globally built but locally powered and designed and customized in that sense. And we've got our data and our partnerships with our different data partners. And today, Omni already has generative AI. I think what's really exciting would be the power and the enhancement with Axiom data and how that completely takes it to the next level, in my view. I think IPG as well also have their own strength in different, whether from a talent perspective, from a client repertoire that they have. I think that is a great synergy that we would have, because all in all, I think as an organization moving forward, it will elevate both of us actually. So that's the excitement. But till then, you will have to wait and see what's going to happen.
Now, one big challenge which I think is coming your way, of course, is, a lot of clients, we heard about them launching in-house creative agencies. Now there are clients which are also going ahead and launching their media planning platforms. I think like Godrej, GCPL did. How is that going to affect a media agency at this juncture when every little dollar, every little rupee that's coming in is important?
So let me put it like this. Operating models have been evolving, and they've been evolving for a very, very long time. In-housing, in the India sense, in that sense, is not new to us. We started actually with in-housed agencies, which then sort of branched out to become independent media agencies. I think let's just sort of move in a little closer to what is our point of view on in-housing. We support our clients in terms of what we believe is best for their organizations and operating structures that work best for our clients. So in that sense, we don't think in-housing is a threat. Let me start with that. Yeah, we have enough clients who have in-housed and are actually calling us, and Eileen will actually throw more light on it, because she actually sits on a lot of those conversations where she's poised in terms of her role in the organization. But I can tell you from an India standpoint that with clients where we have in-house, we're actually doing much richer conversations that are not execution based. That actually, we believe from a long-term value and profitability standpoint for us, are actually far more valuable conversations to have than trying to figure out if my spot has happened, did not happen, did I lose a spot, or whatever it is. So I think in that sense, we don't see in-housing as a threat. We actually see it as an evolving model. And it's complementary. And my sense is that it's probably the need for some larger clients. And like nothing is ever permanent, we believe that models will again evolve after a few years. So in that sense, it's all just about, doing what is right as a partner for your clients rather than sort of being anti to what we believe is right for the client's organization.
So what Monaz was referring to, for example, we have developed experience and frameworks in terms of how we support our clients in in-housing. So, I mean, some of the examples I can give you, for example, is like, say, globally, HP is one of the clients that's actually gone on this in-housing journey. And we were part of that conversation in the boardroom with them months before. So we were in 4 months before, and we built the plan for them. We built the transformation plan, the support plan, and the initial phase of when they first in-house, they were all PhD employees. They were just supporting that, getting them set up, stabilized, technology implementation, and all of that. So we've got the experience, and because of that, I think that's why we don't feel threatened in a sense, because at the end of it, do you want to, have a battle around the execution? Or do you really want to have a conversation in the boardroom around elevated conversations with, senior clients? And hence, I think clients have been very appreciative of us when they actually share these ambitions. We're ready to say, we can support you. What's your ambition? We can build those tech for you. We'll in-house it for you. It's in your environment. We can set those, you can leverage our talent capabilities first. And then, and then overall time, then we just phased out, right? So we've done this a few times actually across markets.
So while this is taken care of, what about the other aspect? We hear about consultancies, tech companies, Accenture coming in a big way in the Indian market now. I mean, while it hasn't really spread its wings as much in India, but it will eventually. How is that going to really affect your business?
So I think the agency business per se is transforming in a very, very big way. And that's one of the reasons why you actually even have tech consultancies actually moving into the agency business. I think what is actually fundamentally transforming is the service that we're offering the client. We are no longer an executing arm for our clients. And I think what actually CMOs are asking for are far more accountable business relationships from their agencies. So if that is the North Star, I think in that sense, a tech company, or for that matter, even a consultancy moving into an agency business is just that amount of competition in that sense, just like I would face from any other advertising agency.
And just one last question. Now, we've heard so much about new disciplines like AI coming in. Programmatic advertising, of course, has been there. Retail, e-commerce, quick commerce emerging in a big way. Now, when you're talking about hiring within PHT and overall Omnicom setup, which of these departments is getting a bigger focus? And if you can tell me about the percentage, which these new roles, how much of hiring is happening in those departments versus the traditional ones?
So I won't have a number to give you, but I'll put it like this. These are obviously emerging touch points which are supremely critical for our clients' business. So do we have a fresh focus on that hiring? The answer is yes. We definitely are focused on that hiring. Is it taking super precedence over some of the other hiring? I think no. In that sense, we're very balanced. But I'd say that we also want to be very careful in terms of developing capabilities that we actually think, we should be able to sort of, in a way, be experts in and offer our clients. So in that sense, I think the PhD journey in India is still a journey. We haven't yet gotten there. But I know that from an APAC standpoint, we're far ahead in that journey than we are here in India.
I would say we're still in the journey as well, because the world's changing so fast, I mean, 1 year ago, would you have thought that we might have to think about having AI engineers in the organization? I mean, when I first started in the industry, I don't think I would have even been able to visualize that, right? So, but I think what we're doing from a regional perspective as well as a global perspective is looking at, firstly, our repertoire of our clients, as well as where the growth journey is from an organization perspective. And then from there, what we're looking is what I would say, what is shift and what is built. And what I mean by that is shift is we look at today capabilities of our talent mix, where AI helps to drive efficiencies or improvements. Are there existing talent capabilities that can shift, that could possibly take on a slightly new form of elevation? Yes, minor pivots, right? So performance folks who now can become retail commerce experts, or content folks who then become creator oriented. And that's where we're prioritizing and starting to look at reviewing where our talent mix is.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
May we meet next year and you have doubled your growth.
Yes, of course.
God bless you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.